morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, I had a voice to radio, so today I'm going to be sharing some news with you. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's news time, and to start off, a great piece of news, which I'm always hugely in favour of. We know what the theme decks are going to be from Ultra Prism. Now, to be fair, we knew what the poster Pokemon for them were going to be a little while ago. I did a video on it. Well, I did a video about a lot of things, but that was one of the topics mentioned therein. But now, thanks to Playscape Games and the lovely Stephen Kent, we actually have lists of the cards included in the theme decks, and this is awesome because Pokemon really are helping us out, putting some great cards in these theme decks. That is wonderful. There's a couple other little bits of news we'll get to as we go along, but first today I want to start off by just having a quick look at, well, at the list of these theme decks. Now, first of all, I have no idea who does it, but someone at Pokemon has the decision to try and figure out what Pokemon are going to be in these theme decks. And they literally picked the two best non-GX Pokemon from Ultra Prism. That is wonderful. So, let's start off with the Empoleon deck. We knew Empoleon was getting a deck. It's a pretty good one. Obviously, you get two Empoleon, you always do, and one of them is going to be a holo and one's going to be a non-holo. As a side note, all the cards I talk about in this video, I've done videos about. I'll pop a link to them in the description. Empoleon, for my money, is the best Pokemon in Ultra Prism. 2 energy, 20 damage for each Pokemon on each player's bench. Plus, it's a direct counter to Zoroark, who needs to fill up its bench to do damage, but you can one-hit KO them, and they can't one-hit KO you, and that is, frankly, hilarious. So we get a couple of Empoleon here, and that's really good. We also get a copy of Aqua Patch, that amazing item card that attaches a water energy from your discard to one of your benched water Pokemon. This is wonderful, because Aqua Patch is absolutely a card you would expect to see in an Empoleon deck. Getting one in the Empoleon theme deck is great. Obviously, we'd like to have a playset of 4, but come on, we can't have everything. We also see an Abomasnow there, which, well, the ability is basically an Aqua Patch, which is pretty sweet. We then see nothing else too amazing in terms of the Pokemon line, but then when you look at the trainer cards here, we see Escape Rope. Escape Rope's pretty nice. We see Lily and Pokemon Fan Club, both of which are pretty good supporters. Now, don't get me wrong, these aren't your standard needs to be played in every deck supporters, but they are, we play them occasionally, it's nice to have 1 or 2 copies. And bear in mind, right, it's not the hardcore players that are generally picking up theme decks, although it might be when they've got really good cards like Empoleon in. It's oftentimes newer players, so you might have 20 copies of Pokemon Fan Club lying around, but maybe the kid who buys this as their first Pokemon deck doesn't. Copy for them will be really cool. We've got Professor Kukui, which is a nice card, which is a pretty good tech. We see a copy of Rescue Stretcher here, which is frankly a great tech played in pretty much every deck. And then we see a copy of Ultra Ball. Again, I've got like 20 Ultra Balls, and I'm sure you probably do as well. But the thing is, not everybody does. It's great having these cards for newer players. So this is a good theme deck, but to be honest, it's kind of blown out the water by the Garchomp theme deck. Now, I adore Garchomp as a Pokemon generally, but also the one from Ultra Prism. For a fighting double colorless, you do 200 damage if you played a Cynthia that turn. And to be perfectly honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, you probably will have played a Cynthia because, especially post-rotation, Cynthia is going to be the best draw support we've got, bar none, which is pretty impressive. You get 2 Cynthia in this Garchomp deck. It's just a reprint of Professor Oak's New Theory, but with a different name. Shuffle your hand into your deck, draw 6 new cards. It's brilliant! It's absolutely brilliant, and you get 2 copies in there. The other thing you really need to have in a Garchomp deck is Lucario. Well, Lucario's really good, because if you've got a Garchomp on your field, and if you're playing a Garchomp deck, you definitely will have a Garchomp on your field, then you get to, once per turn, search your deck for any card and put it into your hand. Now, whether that's a Cynthia to give you a new hand while also giving you that extra damage, maybe, or whether it's that double colorless energy that you need to pay the attack cost, maybe, but whatever it is, you have it because you've searched it out with Lucario. And what I absolutely love about the Garchomp theme deck, and this really is one of the best theme decks we've seen in a long time. Garchomp is a great card, but in order for it to really flourish, you need Cynthia, and you need Lucario, and you get both of them in there. So if you want to build a Garchomp deck, you're going to want to buy a couple of these theme decks. Because you buy 2 of these theme decks, you get 2 Garchomp in each, 4 in total, which you'll need for the deck. You will get 4 Cynthia, which you'll need for the deck, and 2 Lucario, which you'll need for the deck. It's absolutely brilliant, but it doesn't actually stop there. It still gets a little bit better still. Type Null. Now, Silvally is a really good card that's seeing a fair amount of play and could well be better in the future. Type Null is a very unusual card because it is an evolving basic that you basically only play to evolve, but it's actually a rare, which means that a lot of casual players that haven't gone out to build a Silvally deck don't actually have a playset of Type Null. So now we have a theme deck, a really good theme deck, which will actually give you a copy of Type Null as well, just in case it wasn't good enough anyway. Absolutely brilliant. Now we do see another copy of Escape Rope in here, and we do see another Professor Kukui, another Rescue Stretcher. It's just a great, great deck. The fact that you get the Garchomp and the Lucario and the 2 copies of Cynthia and you get the Type Null, it really is great. I'm not entirely sure why you get one random Type Null in a Garchomp deck, but I do know that I personally and a lot of other people, when Crimson Invasion came out, opened a box or whatever and went, great, now I've got to go and find somewhere to get a couple of Type Null. Well, the great news is, ladies and gentlemen, no you don't, because we've got Type Null in this theme deck. It's going to make it more available. I think this is absolutely great on Pokemon's part, giving us these great cards in these theme decks, giving us a reason to buy the theme decks, but also giving a leg up to newer players. When I saw this news, well, about half an hour before I started making this video, I was delighted. Now, we also have a couple of full arts that have been revealed. I'm going to be honest with you, it's not terribly exciting because they're just cards that we've already seen, but you might want to see the full arts. I thought I'd show you. We have got Ultra Recon Squad. Now, Ultra Recon Squad is pretty good. You get to draw 3 cards for every Ultra Beast you discard from your hand, up to a maximum of 2. Now, obviously, with Ultra Spacer Stadium, which allows you to grab an Ultra Beast from your deck and put it into your hand, it gets much better, so that's pretty cool. And we've also got Wake here, which is a phenomenal new card, which will also be played in Empoleon, but it was not from the Ultra Prism equivalent in Japan, hence why it's not in the theme deck. And you discard 2 Water Energy from your hand, and then you search your deck for any 2 cards, which is frankly over the top ridiculous. So nice to have those cards coming as well. Nice to have the full art artwork. There's not much else to say about these. They're great cards, but you know what? I've done a video about them, so check the link in the description. That's the best place to go and have a gander. And the last little piece of news for this week, we finally have confirmation of the Shining Darkrai-GX box, and just as we suspected, it is just the same Darkrai-GX. Literally same artwork, same attack, same everything, but slightly miscoloured. Same thing we saw with Silvally-GX and Shining Silvally-GX. Not terribly surprising. We kind of knew this was coming, but it's still pretty nice because, you know what? Darkrai could be good. Now, it's not actually seen a huge amount of play since it came out, but I think there's every chance it could see play again in the future. So, you know what? Nice that we're getting the shiny Darkrai-GX box. It's pretty cool. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is largely the news for today. I don't always do videos about what's in the theme decks, but Pokemon have really outdone themselves with these new theme decks, and I thought it was about time that I showed you them, because they really are worth having a gander at. The new full arts are cool. I'm not a full art supporter kind of dude, but if you are, we got some new full art supporters coming, and shiny Darkrai-GX, you know what? I can think of much worse things to be revealed. And that's about it, to be honest with you, but as always, get in touch. Let me know what you think about all of these news stories. Let me know if you're going to get any of those theme decks. Go nuts in the comment section, but remember the rule, be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, then you can do so by going over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio. And if you want more Wassy, but with some more general video game action, great news, go and check out Wassy Plays. That's where you can find it. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.